Hey everyone, I'm Joanna Rochester, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people that are focused on creating the world that they envision for themselves, bringing together those that have the wisdom to share and those that are searching for more. Soul Alchemy is the journey of transformation. You might remember in earlier days that transforming silver into gold was an alchemist, but now with the work that I do, I help people transform from where they are now to where their alignment with their soul, with what their soul is looking for, what their soul came here to do. So we help let go of those pieces of us that are preventing us from becoming that best version of ourselves. So today I wanted to talk to you about that, about awakening, about becoming more conscious, about the individuation process, whatever you feels right to call it, but you are becoming more conscious, more aware of yourself, of the world around you, and starting to look at things different. Starting to search for more in your life, whatever your more is, more joy, more peace, more happiness, better health. And this is a beautiful process that many of us are going through right now. Part of what's going on in the world right now is to give us that time, that ability to slow down and see the world from a slightly different perspective. And so if you're there now, congratulations. It's a really beautiful place to be. But I should step back, because you probably wouldn't be here if you hadn't started becoming more aware, started to become more conscious. And so what does it mean to be more conscious, to be more aware? Well, first of all, it's just noticing things more, being that observer in your life, starting to realize that there's this whole other world out there other than what's on this surface, a whole other world of relationships, of energy, of fascination. There's sacred geometry. There's just so much more, and it's amazing to me. My journey started about 15 years ago, and when I realized that I didn't like the way I was raising my kids. I was raising them the way I was raised, and I didn't like the way I was raised. And so that started me on a journey of starting to understand myself more and to start to be aware that there's so much going on within us, and our energy fields around us, and our thoughts, our emotions. We don't have to get stuck. We don't have to be in places where we're in pain, or where we're doing the same things over and over again, those things that we don't really like. Or, if you feel stuck in your life, now's the time to move forward and to awaken and to become more aware. There's so much energy around us. Energy flows through every single being on this planet, but through the trees, through the rocks, through the soil, energy is out there. And the more we can come to accept that and become aware of it, the more that we can get into the flow and understand how that energy affects us. One of the best books, one of the simplest books, is called, where is it? It's called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And this is a very simple book, and it's 10 rules to fuel your life, work, and team with positive energy. It just opens your eyes up when you're starting to become more aware of energy, and how your energy affects other people, and how other people's energy affects us. And I think that's one of the big things, is that a lot of us are empaths. And empath means that you feel other people's energy. And everyone, that feeling can be different. It may be a feeling in your gut when someone has experienced some emotions. It may be that you can actually feel other people's pain. There's so many ways that an empath presents itself. And when you come to recognize that you are an empath and you feel other people's energy, then it's starting to explore that energy. And what are you feeling? How does it affect you? What are you being shown? Everything that we experience in life is a feedback loop. And what do I mean by that? Is that any irritation, any emotion, any physical symptom, all of these are pieces of the puzzle that we are being presented with to help understand ourselves better. Emotions are a huge part of our day-to-day life, and our emotions can control us. I've gone from a place of having no idea, what emotions I was experiencing and how to deal with them and how to move through them. I would just, suppress. I would get angry and frustrated, but push it down. And because I didn't know what to do with it, I didn't know how to explore emotions. And as you awaken and become more aware, then you can start to look at those emotions, because often we're being triggered by an event, by someone saying something, by someone doing something, and we don't even realize it. We don't realize that an emotion is coming up. And if we do, then how to explore that emotion and understand why we're being shown that emotion. Because once again, any emotions you experience, you are being shown it so that you can understand yourself better. And if it's a negative emotion, then you can help release that emotion or understand the effect that it has upon you. So when you do feel an emotion, as soon as you can, take a look at it and ask, right? What's going on here? Why am I being shown this? Why does this bother me? What does this bug me? I had a very simple thing the other day. Someone, one of my clients said, "Oh, I thought this was a 3-month program, and it was a 9-week program." And I was being shown something, because what came up in that moment was that I hadn't provided them with the clarity that they needed to understand that it was not 3 months, it was 9 weeks, because 3 times a week or 3 times a month for 3 months. But it brought up these insecurities within me. So for me, it was, well, be more clear, but it was also a tool for me to go back and look and see, why did that make me feel insecure? What was it about that moment that I need to look at and understand? And for me, it really was, it wasn't so much, and it rarely is, the event that actually took place, but instead it's the emotion, the place that you're being brought back to. And this is where you can get into inner child work, because so often when we're triggered, we're taken back to an earlier time in our lives, an earlier time that needs to be explored. Often, something happened and we just suppressed what happened. And all emotions carry weight in our body. So if you've got, emotions stuck in your body, you may be experiencing some joint pain, or you may have stomach issues, or you may flare up at the littlest thing, or what may seem like the littlest thing. But all of these are pieces of the puzzle of showing you more about yourself and showing you more about what's taking place internally, but also to help you release and let go and understand yourself better, so that these things don't bother you anymore, so that you can get into the flow. As you become more aware, you will start to get into the flow more, because you won't have the big ups and downs anymore. You won't become so frustrated. You won't become so angry, because you are aware of yourself and you're conscious in the moment of what's taking place. And so you don't suppress it or push it down. You can learn to deal with it as quickly as possible. And the more you move through this place, the more you get into the flow, and the more you get into alignment with who you are. And when you're in alignment with who you are, life works. And there's another point, that when you are more conscious and more aware, you can start to notice trends in your life. You can notice these frustrations. You can notice triggers. You can notice that something's not working if you're trying to make plans to go somewhere and none of the plans are working. Once you start to notice that none of the plans are working, then you can stop and take a look and say, well, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe there is an adjustment that needs to be placed, or I'm supposed to go at a different time, or with someone else, or whatever it is. But when things are not working for you, you're being presented with that information so that you can understand more about yourself, but also to take a look at what's not working. Is it a relationship that's not working? Is it a job that's not working? Is it your diet that's not working. It's all there for you. And I think that this is really the beauty of becoming more aware, is that it's such a beautiful journey to be on, where you do understand yourself better and you do go inwards rather than searching outwards for what you're looking for what frustrations you have, what irritants that are there. And this is part of that awakening journey, is to go inward and understand yourself better and learn to love yourselves better. Because this is the biggest purpose in all our lives, right? We come here with different things that we thought we wanted to do, but our biggest journey is to love ourselves and to understand ourselves. And when we can come to that place of truly loving yourself, all parts of yourself, then you will truly be awakening and remembering who you are. Because in every single one of us, there is so much beauty and so much joy and so much happiness. And this happiness and joy and beauty is meant to be shared with the world. But so often our story prevents us from realizing that beauty or joy or happiness. And so as we become more aware, then we can let go of those pieces that are limiting us, that are preventing us from becoming that best version of ourselves, of that true self. And so whether you call it awareness or consciousness or individuation, which is a Carl Jung process, but it's all those pieces of coming to recognize what your story is. Who are you? Who have you always been? Or, sorry, not who have you always been, because that's not the truth. It's that, but what story? What is your story? What is your family said about you? What labels have you put on yourself? And all these pieces limit us, right? But also, what culture did you grow up in? What is your family? What are the dynamics of your family and the relationships within your family? Part of my family was, there's 6 kids, and yes, good Catholic family, 6 kids, but oldest sister and then brother and then me. But that brother, it was still in that generation that, the first son, which obviously from a broad perspective, that quite irritates me, but, it's part of it. It's part of what we grew up with. It's part of the story. Yeah, Sean, thank you very much for sharing that. It's feeling all the way through my soul. I feel everything and everyone in me. Scary as hell, but it's definitely beautiful. It's such a beautiful journey. But to get back to that, we all have this story. And once again, this story limits us. And so, what is your story? Going into a state of meditation, being more aware, will help you to realize, what have you told yourself all your life? What have people told you? What is your family like? What are your relationships like? Have you been told all your life that you're shy? Have you been told all your life, that you're overweight? Have you been told all your life you're too skinny? Have you been told all your life that you're not smart? So all these pieces limit us and prevent us from being that best version of ourselves. And so awareness brings us that ability, that chance to step in and take a look, and to move outside of the day-to-day journey that often we get stuck in, and start to look inwards and start to love, and learning to love yourself. It may seem simple, although I think for a lot of us, it's really not. But learning to love all aspects of yourself is a real challenge a lot of the times. I would say that I love myself, but every time I connect with any guides or angels or teachers or anything like that, it's always, love yourself more. Love yourself more, let go of those pieces that you judge yourself. And so often we do. And this is a good reminder here too, that as you become more aware and you start looking at the way you've handled yourself in the past, or start to explore that awareness of yourself, then I would encourage you to also start to look at whether or not you judge yourself. Because so often, a lot of us do judge ourselves. We look back at what we've done and think, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That was a terrible thing to do. Or why did I act like that? Or, that was mean, or, so many different things. And, hindsight is not there to judge. Being able to look back helps us decide how we want to move forward. Is there a way that we could have done things differently in the past, a way that might not have hurt someone, or a way that would help us grow more and to step into our own power more? So once again, awakening consciousness is a journey, but it is a lifelong journey also. And, it's not like all of a sudden you become more aware and everything falls by the wayside. Make life a lot easier if it did, but it just doesn't work that way. I'm sure it does for some people, but for the majority of us, 99.9% of us, it is a lifelong journey of exploring more and understanding ourselves more and loving ourselves more, letting go of those pieces of ourselves that no longer work or no longer provide us with the growth that we're looking for and the journey that we're looking for. And part of one of the things I'd like to comment on is part of the awakening process, that developing greater consciousness process, is that it can be lonely. A lot of times, as you start to move forward and start to grow, a lot of times we have to let go of people that no longer serve us, that we grow away from. And a lot of times we start to notice that the people that we used to spend time with, it's no longer working for us. We're not as comfortable. We don't want to spend that time with them. Maybe we seem bored, or maybe bored's not the right word, but it is that we no longer wish to just spend time in, not mindless, but conversations that are about nothing. And it's really great to be able to step forward and develop relationships, but often old relationships have to fall by the wayside before we can step in and attract the relationships that we really want. Affirmations are a great tool here to help you with that journey. And if you haven't read my book already, The Magnificence of Magenta, Rediscovering the Color of Your Soul, there is a great chapter in there where I guide people through how to do affirmations. And affirmations help us to focus on the things in our life that we want to change. The thing with affirmations, though, is that they have to be believable. They may stretch us, but they have to be believable, because if you state an affirmation and then follow with the thought subconsciously or consciously that, yeah, no, that's not true, then it's not going to work. So if you say, I am beautiful, but you say, no, I'm not, then it doesn't work. But if you can say, I am moving towards accepting my looks, or accepting the way I see myself, or, I am letting go of my judgment of self, these pieces, rather than I no longer judge myself. So it's always positive, but it's always something that is believable. It may be stretching you, but it's believable. So affirmations are a really great tool to help you become more aware, become more conscious, and to help you move through these periods where sometimes it feels lonely. And I think a really good friend of mine used to say to me that when you feel really lonely, it's almost like you're in it. Oftentimes it's because you've gone through a period of growth, of greater awareness. So you've gone and you've moved into, like, you're living in the same house, but now the house is empty. And so you're wandering around these empty rooms, not really sure what to do or where to go. And it's time to fill up the rooms with the things like what you're searching for in your life. So new like-minded friends, new information, wisdom that you would like to incorporate into your day-to-day life, new processes, new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing the world. All of these pieces can help you. And it's not easy. doing the work. It is work, but it is such a beautiful journey, and it can, bring you so much joy and happiness. But one of the other greatest tools that I would suggest is to have patience with the whole process, because that patience really is, for the majority of us here on earth, we want it now, right? All of a sudden we become aware, and we become more aware. We want to understand ourselves better. But sometimes that, we have to allow things to integrate within us. So we become aware that we are very intuitive, and we want to utilize that intuition to help us in our lives and to help other people and do those acts of service. But it's playing with that intuition and understanding how it works for you, because intuition works different, and just like other talents work differently for every single person. So it's understanding yourself better, but allowing time, knowing that ideally it can switch on overnight, but so often you've been in this place, this position, emotionally, mentally, physically, for the majority of your life, and to have it just flip overnight, it doesn't often happen. Certainly some people have epiphanies, or they have momentous events in their life that changes everything for them. But for the majority of us, it's kind of a process, learning lessons, steps that we have to take. And with each step, we learn a little bit more, and we come to understand ourselves more, and we move through it more. But we have to adjust physically, mentally, emotionally, to what we're learning about, to what we're seeing, what we're understanding, feeling, right? All of a sudden you realize that you can feel other people's emotion. Well, what are you feeling, right? It can be as simple as, feeling a pain in your arm and realizing that the person sitting beside you, has some damage to their elbow. But a lot of times when we feel things in our body, like a gut feeling, well, what does that mean? Right? What am I being shown? Why am I feeling this? And understanding it. So it's a process. It's a journey. It's learning to understand yourself better, learning to understand what's being presented to you, and transforming from where you are now to where you want to be. And understanding the pieces of that journey. But also, I think, coming to understand that the journey can change at any time. You come out the door tomorrow and decide to go left instead of right, you can change that journey. I truly believe that we come into this world with our contract, and there's a million options in that contract that are available to us. And with each step that we take, we either move towards more joy or we move away from joy. So it's up to you to alter your journey. We have free will. Nothing is laid out for us. Anything can happen in a lifetime. You can come into this world and have a purpose, but if you're not willing to do the work, or it's too painful, or you decide that something else is easier, you won't achieve that purpose in this lifetime, and it'll be left up to another lifetime, or there may be karma that influences us. There's so many factors here, and I kind of digressed from the subject a little bit, but coming to have that greater awareness of yourself and transforming your soul into what you truly want it to be, and understanding how to let go of pieces of you that no longer work for you is what this journey is all about. And awareness, consciousness, individuation is part of that journey, and going inward and loving yourself more. So if you have any questions on anything that I said, or want to learn anything more, please reach out. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Joanna Rogers, Soul Alchemist. Also, my website is there you go, soulalchemisthealing.com. This has been Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. And Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people sharing their wisdom and knowledge and helping to change the world. We have conversations that change the way you think. So I do Real Talk Soul Alchemy every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But please, if you have any questions, reach out. I'd love to talk to you and connect and hear what you have to say. I also have my Facebook page, Soul Alchemist. So have an amazing day, and we'll see you next week.